Well, hello there, and welcome to the Mindset Alchemy podcast. I'm Janine, and I love helping you understand energy, the energy of your words, the energy of your thinking, the energy of your feelings, and what it's creating in your life. Because what I do is I help people create beyond their limits. So many of us perceive we have limits. We just forget about them. And then we are unable to understand the reason. Suddenly we feel stuck. We feel like we're going nowhere. And one of these areas is definitely in the area of money, cash flow, and of having wealth, financial prosperity and abundance, never mind in your health. I have a phrase that I use that I learned: health, wealth, and success. Somebody the other day said to me, well, how come you don't say health, wealth, and happiness? I said, because health, part of wealth is happiness, part of success is happiness. So for me, it's it's all encompassed in there. What does it mean for you? How do you perceive it? And have you understood that your mindset around money dictates the reality of what you have in your life? I was chatting with a friend on Monday, and she was bemoaning the fact that she didn't have this and she didn't have that. And I very gently said to her, may I offer you something? And she said, well, I suppose you're going to anyway. And I said, no, well, if you're unavailable to hear it, then I definitely am unavailable to offer it. And she said, okay, well, go ahead. She was very gracious about it. And she said, okay, go ahead. I said, well, while you focus on what you lack, you're going to get more of that, because that is literally what I have experienced in my life. When I focus on what I don't have, I get more of it. Whereas when I go, well, what are the infinite possibilities of the shifting and changing and of XYZ coming into my life? Wow. When I started doing that with intention and with focus, it was so powerful how things shifted and changed for me. Yes, I would see where there's a lack. And instead of focusing on it, I would go and say, well, what would I like? What else is possible? Where could this present? And what could it look like? What would it look like? And I got into being more curious than anything else. And as I allowed this curiosity to blossom and to grow, I saw the expansion happening in my life. I felt it, and I got into basically believing that things can work out for me. I shifted my belief around that people were out to get me, including my finances, into wow, look what can happen. The minute my finances dip, I go and explore what is happening with my speech, what am I feeling, where am I experiencing lack? Because generally it shows up. What we focus on grows, people. I know many people say to me it's a trite saying. It actually is a true saying as well. When you focused on something, it becomes part of your reality, becomes part of your belief. And energetically, you start creating more and more and more of it. And then you go, look at the mess I've got here. And well, when people come and coach with me and I say, well, let's look at what you're saying. Let's look at your speech patterns. What are you thinking about certain areas? Where could this have come from? Is it a family belief? Is it a societal belief? Is it an imprint? Is it just something you're experiencing that if we can shift that inner experience and go and find things that help you feel abundantly wealthy, abundantly happy? Where are you working during endurance? Because let me tell you, I used to race a bicycle, and I often rode tandem. I raced tandem with my husband. My husband and I raced tandem bicycle. And there were many times that I was, oh my goodness, is this ever going to end? And I found when I switched it to, wow, 1 kilometer done. Yes, wow. Time flew, our legs flew, and well, we actually came in pretty top positions. The one time it was third, another time it was second, another time it was first. And it was what it shifted was my attitude. And when I started applying this in my business, in my life, in my relationships, it was just absolutely incredible how this shifted. And when we apply it to our money mindset, goodness, things really get to shift. And part of the money mindset is to become aware of things intuitively. Well, what is this feeling of lack from? Is it mine? Is it someone else's? Am I putting a lot of pressure on what I'm looking to create? Where am I treating my cash flow and my money? Because remember, money is the energy, it's the vibration, it's a representation. It's not necessarily cash or EFTs into your bank account or your PayPal or your Stripe or whatever. So there is a difference between money and cash flow. Money is the energy, cash flow is the actualization of it. It could be somebody brings you a cake. That is money. Somebody brings you groceries. That is money because it is a gain. It is an expansion. It's a coin of exchange. It's a way of exchange. Sometimes it's in coin, sometimes it's in goods. It just depends on what it is. I forget what I was saying. How come I started explaining that? But anyway, the bottom line is when we go and explore where we're blocking the money, where we are disallowing the cash flow, and where we're treating our money and our cash flow like a slave or a servant, rather than asking it to co-create with us and come and have an adventure with us, come and have fun with us, allow us to be a conduit so that the economy can keep turning over, that others can pay their bills because we've been able to buy from them and put some cash flow into their life. It is just absolutely incredible how things shift and change, how things move forward. And when you can get into that feeling of joy of, even if it's just 1 cent or a dime or a penny or whatever it is, and you celebrate it as, wow, I have expansion. What would it take for me to receive XYZ? Maybe £1,000 or $1,000 or €1,000. You see that penny or that pence or that dime as part of the expansion. You feel it, you celebrate it, because what we celebrate grows. We focus on that. When I have an idea, I celebrate it because that idea is in its own way money that translates into cash flow as I do webinars, as I do teachings, as I do my awesome podcast. And when we allow ourselves to see that money is separate to cash flow, and we raise our energy and we get into a higher vibration, one more of acceptance, one more of love, one more of celebration, one more of joy, one of saying, okay, I'm hungry and the cash flow is absent. What would it take for me to get food in the tummy of my children and myself? Wow, what a difference it makes. I still remember, and this was like so embarrassing. My daughter was unwell, and I was at the pharmacy, and I was short about R2, which is not a lot if you look at it in dollars and pounds. And I sat there crying. You know what? If I had, I can, with hindsight, if I'd said to somebody in that queue, please, who can give me R2, or I think it was R5, somebody would have given it to me. 1 or 2 people would have given it to me. But because I was in trauma, I was in lack, and I was in being unable to see expansion, I left without the medication because I was short that very small amount of money that if I had asked and allowed would have come to me. And it's when we're in the asking and the allowing. It was mostly a good thing my daughter didn't get the antibiotic with hindsight, and that's another story for another day. The bottom line is when instead of looking at what we're lacking, we look at what we could have, where we could ask, what we could explore. Wow, what a difference it makes. Where are you today in your feeling around your cash flow, your financial abundance, your relationship abundance, your business abundance? Where are you putting pressure on your business and your cash flow and expecting it to perform on demand rather than making a friend of it, befriending it, working with it, exploring with it? Where are you asking the divine and the universe to co-create with you? And where are you asking yourself to co-create with yourself to create expansion? rather than having that constriction of mindset, that constriction of feeling, and that constriction of not enoughness. Because very often when we have that emotional inner feeling of not enoughness, it really does show up in our bank balance as not enoughness. Instead of looking at it and going, oh goodness, okay, where can I shift my energy so that my bank balance can shift? We just get into the bemoaning, the criticizing, condemning, and complaining. So yes, have a few moments there and then go 3, 2, 1, change, 3, 2, 1, change, 3, 2, 1, change. What else is possible? Where can I allow more in? Where can I feel more? Where can I shift this energy and create a space for myself to receive it? I would love to hear how this impacted you and what your experiences have been, because people, I have been where I have absolutely not a cent anywhere, and yet miracles happened because I asked, because I allowed, and because I stepped forward. Does it always happen? Well, it does when I shift my energy and my attitude. And I've seen this in my clients as well. When we shift our energy and our attitude and we see things from a space of expansion rather than of lack, what a difference. Looking forward to hearing from you. Come and find me across social media, Janine Kathleen with a K. And guess what? If you'd like to know more about how I can help you shift your money mindset, reach out and let's chat. Until then, have a grand, glorious, and amazing day. Bye-bye.